Hey everybody, it's Christine. Welcome to my channel. Today I have a special video for you. I am guest designing for Doodlebug Design, and I am playing with the So Much Pun collection, which is literally so much pun. It's packed with puns, but it's also super duper fun. And one of the things I like about it is that it's got a lot of little details that I could use to tell little details of my life. I felt like this collection really had so many pieces that I can use to just tell our little stories. One of those is how my son loves pretzels, which is sort of random, but also something I want to remember about him, because on his birthday, we took him to get pretzels for lunch because he loves pretzels. So I jumped on to the pretzel pieces in this collection, which it's not a huge focus in it. In fact, nothing is necessarily a huge focus. There are a few themes within it, but there's a food theme and kind of more like a fast food theme, and so the pretzels kind of fell into that. So what I did is I used my electronic cutting machine and I cut out a giant pretzel, and right now I am going around it and using my paper piercer and just poking holes all the way around that, because I'm going to stitch a giant pretzel on my paper. This might be the most random thing I have ever stitched onto a scrapbook page. That said, my son loves it. When he looked at what I did and the whole story that I told with it, he thought it was so cool, and I know it's going to be a great memory for me and for him down the road. This also shows you that, like, any shape that you want to put on a page, you can totally stitch it. Just cut it out on your electronic cutting machine, poke some holes, and you can stitch pretty much anything you want. In this case, I just did the outline, and I'm just using some simple light brown thread, so there's nothing real complicated going on here, but it's totally different. Gives me a totally different look from anything I've ever seen anyone else do, and that is super fun. Inspired all by one little piece of the patterned paper in this collection that says, "You're not, K-N-O-T, not that old." Okay, and it has a picture of a pretzel. So it was just a really cute thing, and since I had just taken my son to have pretzels on his birthday, literally less than 2 weeks before, I knew it was perfect for telling a simple little story in our life. Now, there were lots of pretzel stickers within the collection and some other things to add on, so you will see me add those on. Now, I missed a little bit of recording here, so you can see I've jumped from one point to the other. So let me just talk about here real quickly. I've got this background, and I'm going to put the whole thing together. Now, I used a star background with a blue base to it. That was a really pretty patterned paper. Loved it. Thought it matched really well with what I was going for on telling this story. I cut my son's pictures out in circles, and I matted those on some Petite Prince cardstock, not cardstock, patterned paper from Doodlebug, not within this collection, but still one of their fabulous creations. And the reason I chose that was I just wanted a pop of color in there, so I used this one to get that done. Bring in some of that shade of green. Now, the next thing I'm going to be doing is my embellishing, which is pretty low key on this one. I really didn't go too crazy. There's a lot of white space, but the whole thing came together to be pretty balanced, and so I was happy about that. So I'm going to pull off a border from the This and That sticker set, which is a 12 by 12 sticker set that has borders, words, little icons on it. I knew I wanted to put a border up top there to bring your eye up to the title. I also used some skinny letter stickers to write happy, and then the birthday comes from the Chit Chat die cuts from this collection also. Now you can see I've also added on some of the pretzel stickers, as well as a pretzel die cut from the odds and ends. Odds and ends are all icons within the collection. It's a huge bag of just fabulous fun. You can't help but smile as you're going through it. Now I'm going to add in just little bits and pieces to decorate it. So I'm going to bring in some stars because, again, it's a boy layout and you can't go wrong with stars for little boys. And also I like the way it plays up the color more. I'm going to bring in some hearts because he's still young enough that I can get away with hearts and it doesn't look too too feminine for the little guy. And I'm gonna vary how I attach these. So some are gonna be flat, some I'm gonna use my Easy Runner Grand from Scrapbook Adhesives by 3L, some I'm gonna pop up with the 3D foam squares, also from Scrapbook Adhesives by 3L, that you see right over on that right hand side. Changing up the dimension on these makes the clusters a little more interesting, and just provides a different level of depth to the whole layout. I've got some good texture going on already because of the stitching, and so that was less my goal than just adding a little bit of depth and interest throughout. Now you can see I have got so many die cut pieces from the odds and ends and so many stickers from the icon sticker sheets to choose from. There are just gobs of them in this collection. And I just can't, you know, it was hard to know where the right place to stop was. That said, I came to a point where I knew I was done. And I kind of eyeballed it, sent it to a friend, said, hey, how's this look? Too much white space, too little? And we both agreed that it was a good stopping point. So I will show you the final picture at the end here because I do have a little bit that I added on at the very end, but this is basically it. You're going to see a little bit of mist. You'll see a few little details that I missed getting on camera, and there you have it. So be sure to keep an eye out for those other Doodlebug videos, and I will see you again soon with more videos. Thanks so much for joining me today.